On the night of the 24th of September 1944, the British troops of the 49th West Riding Division mounted an assault crossing of the Turnhout Canal in northern Belgium. On the division's left flank, the 4th Battalion, the Lincolnshire Regiment, encountered minimal German opposition, and by early morning on the 25th, the battalion was across the canal, and 2 Bailey bridges had been built in its sector. Meanwhile, 2 kilometres downstream, the infantry of the Hallamshire Battalion of the York and Lancaster Regiment also attempted to cross the canal, however, as the battalion war diary records. At 23:30 hours on the 24th of September, D Company began to cross. The crossing place, however, was immediately subjected to small arms fire from the far bank at point-blank range. It was found impossible to launch a boat across the high bank. Although the enemy apparently had no automatic weapons, the boat was riddled with bullets every time it was placed on the bank. The company was therefore ordered to desist from the attempt to cross. Unable to get across the canal in its sector, the Hallamshire Battalion was ordered to abandon its operation and instead move west and cross into the bridgehead established by the 4th Lincolnshire Regiment. This the Hallamshire successfully carried out, and by morning on the 25th of September, the battalion was in position on the northern bank of the Turnhout Canal. From here it advanced out to expand the bridgehead, with B Company pushing north and establishing itself astride the Reichsvorsel Merksplas main road without incident. At the same time, C Company swung out to the right and encountered a German position in the woods just south of Brabos, where it became embroiled in heavy fighting, but was ultimately able to force its way through to the main road by late afternoon. At this point, D Company was directed to push down this road in the direction of Merksplas, but as the company advanced, it was caught out in the open by German artillery fire and suffered heavy casualties. As a result, D Company returned to the bridgehead that evening and was pulled into battalion reserve. The next day, on the 26th, A Company moved up and cleared the wooded ground to the southeast of Brabos, whilst B Company found itself on the receiving end of a small-scale enemy counterattack, which saw parties of German troops infiltrate their way through the British forward line and into B Company's rear area. After much confusion, the men of B Company eventually dealt with these parties and were able to drive off the enemy advance. Once this line was re-stabilised, B Company advanced out on the 27th and secured a farmhouse just north of its position, inflicting heavy casualties on the enemy. In the meantime, A and C Companies carried out a number of patrols to the east, which cleared the way for C to later move up and occupy a small wood on the 28th of September. The following morning, on the 29th, C Company launched an assault to clear the northern part of a complex known as the Depot de Mendicite, which was a joint prison and mental hospital that was surrounded on 3 sides by a mound of earth, serving as a perimeter wall, on the inside of which was a moat measuring 6 meters wide. Moving out from their positions just after 05:30, the troops of C Company advanced through a hail of enemy mortar and small arms fire towards the complex, with Section Commander Corporal John Harper among the first to reach the perimeter wall. Here, Corporal Harper single-handedly stormed and cleared a German outpost, killing or capturing its occupants and opening the way for his section to get forward and join him at the perimeter wall. However, not long after, a number of grenades began to be thrown over the wall by German infantry located on the other side, which prompted the corporal to scale the wall alone with the intention of eliminating this threat. For his actions that day, Corporal John Harper will be awarded the Victoria Cross, the citation for which states, "As the enemy on the far side of the wall were now throwing grenades over the top, Corporal Harper climbed over the wall alone, throwing grenades, and in the face of heavy close-range small arms fire, personally routed the Germans directly opposing him. He took 4 prisoners and shot several of the remainder of the enemy as they fled across the moat." With the immediate enemy threat dealt with, Corporal Harper climbed back over the wall, handed the 4 German prisoners over to his company headquarters, before he again scaled the wall by himself to determine whether it was possible for his section to cross the moat and storm into the complex. Braving the German mortar and machine gun fire once more, Corporal Harper climbed over the wall for a second time, dashed across the open ground and soon reached the moat, where he realised that it was too deep and too wide for his men to cross it in the face of the enemy. Consequently, he returned to his unit and reported his findings to the company commander, who ordered the corporal to establish his section on the far side of the moat by whatever means necessary. Accordingly, Corporal John Harper made his way back to the perimeter wall, and as his Victoria Cross citation details, for the third time he climbed over alone, found some empty German weapon pits, and providing the covering fire, urged and encouraged his section to scale the wall and dash for cover. By this action, he was able to bring down sufficient covering fire to enable the rest of the company to cross the open ground and surmount the wall for the loss of only one man. With his section, together with most of C Company, now over the wall and in position along the moat, Corporal Harper set out to find a suitable crossing place, and it wasn't long before he found a ford located a few hundred meters to the south. Immediately, he rushed back to his section and began to brief the company commander on the whereabouts of the ford. Tragically though, it was during this briefing that Corporal Harper was hit by an enemy bullet and was killed in action. In the minutes that followed, C Company carried out a quick reorganisation before it moved off and crossed the moat using the ford that Corporal Harper had located. The company then attacked into the heart of the Depot de Mendicite, where it became bogged down in fierce close-quarter fighting. Eventually, after several hours and with no sign of a breakthrough being achieved, C Company was ordered to disengage and return to its previously held positions in the wood on the outskirts of the complex, a move that was completed by nightfall on the 29th of September 1944. Undoubtedly, the actions of Corporal John Harper were key to C Company's early successes that day, as he not only cleared the German outer defences largely by himself, but he was also the one who located the ford which the company used to attack into the Depot de Mendicite. It was for these reasons that he was posthumously awarded the Victoria Cross on the 2nd of January 1945, with his medal citation concluding that the success of the company in driving the enemy from the wall and back across the moat must be largely ascribed to the superb self-sacrifice and inspiring gallantry of Corporal Harper. His magnificent courage, fearlessness, and devotion to duty throughout the battle set a splendid example to his men and had a decisive effect on the course of the operations. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe so that you never miss one of my future videos.